Yes. Hi, I'm a citizen of New Orleans, and I would like to know, you've seen the devastation, and as she stated, you were one of the first senators to come down here. When will you make disaster recovery a platform of yours, and when would voters be able to see that? And what would you like to see happen in your first 100 days if elected as president in terms of disaster recovery?
Thank you. First of all, I will make it obviously one of our nation's priorities. But I also want to say that we have to continue to take certain steps. One of them is get the best people in America working there. Okay, that's obvious. Was one of our problems in the past. You've got to get the most highly qualified people, and I'd ask people who have served this, who have been in this nation and done very well, thanks to the opportunity it provides to serve. But you've got to get people who are the most highly qualified. The second priority I would have, and this may surprise you a little bit, is one of the great aspects of this disaster is we had trucks full of water, ice ending up in Maine. Meanwhile, people are dehydrated in the Superdome, okay? And so I would utilize some of the corporations and companies that every day distribute things to the American people. Home Depot, FedEx, Walmart. I know that Walmart is a bad name with some people, but the fact is, the people that distribute goods and services every day. The head of one of the major corporations said, I would devote 120 airplanes to bringing in supplies and much needed aid and assistance to people that are in need. Why should we have the federal government do it when we can bring in the people who every day? Look, some of these corporations, I hate to mention their names, one of them, they know where every package is every second because it's their job. Because it's their job, right? And when they lose one, they hear about it, and it costs them money. So let's bring in those companies and corporations that have the distribution systems that are capable immediately to devote those assets and supplies and equipment rather than storing them someplace. I was told that there's some equipment and other stuff that's being stored for future emergencies that's decaying, that's simply not usable. I was told that FEMA wouldn't send some mobile homes because they were, quote, too big. Too big? I mean, the governor just told me a story that FEMA said, well, we'll restore the chalkboards that were lost in the schools that were destroyed, but we won't pay for modern technological equipment. The response said, look, we'll pay the difference, but just pay us some. I mean, it's, you know, it's a lot of this stuff you can't make it up. So my point is that let's get business in the free enterprise system involved in initial disaster response. Then let the federal government do the things that are necessary. Leadership is obviously important. Strengthen the first responders. There were people who could not talk to one another. The firemen could not talk to the police and vice versa. You know all that. Well, they've got to have a common spectrum, and they've got to have equipment that they can communicate each other. Obviously, critical infrastructure. Obviously, a culture of preparedness, and we need to have some discrimination. I mean, we could talk for hours on this. But here's one of the problems, I think. The regulation and the rules of FEMA can apply and apply effectively if there's a tornado that hits and destroys 2 homes somewhere. But when you've got a disaster of the magnitude that we have experienced here, what was experienced here in New Orleans and in Louisiana, then you've got to have flexibility, and you've got to have maximum flexibility, and you've got to react immediately, and you can't be bound by regulations and rules. And if you do something wrong, well, you're getting a salary from the government, then we'll hold you responsible. But to do nothing, obviously, is the worst of all worlds. Yes, sir.
Thanks for coming to
Wait a minute, does that respond?